Hi, my name is Jessie. I'm going to be talking about some experiments that we've been running in my lab with the aim of reducing participants' depressive symptoms. So our initial studies showed that we could use real-time neurofeedback and fMRI to train participants who had subclinical levels of depression to make their brain activity more like that of healthy people, and as a result, their depressive symptoms were reduced. This is a really cool finding. We're trying various ways to make this particular paradigm more feasible for use in the clinic. At the moment, it's a little bit tough. So, for example, participants come in each day for multiple days, and they spend on each day up to an hour in the MRI scanner, which can be tough for some of them. So we thought, can we try and reduce the amount of time that they spend in the scanner each day and still find a reduction in their depressive symptoms? So I'll tell you what they do each day when they come in. Once they're in the scanner, they do a task. And in this task, there are multiple trials. On each trial, first they take a rest, then they do induction. During induction, basically, the goal is for them to make their brain activity more like that of a healthy person. And if they successfully do that, then they get positive feedback, which is a big circle here. And if they don't do this, then they get less positive feedback, which is a smaller circle. So after multiple trials of this kind of training, based on the feedback they learn to make during the induction period, the brain activity more like that of a healthy person. And in the initial testing, this induction period was quite long. And we thought one way that we can reduce the amount of time that the participants spend in the scanner each day is to reduce the induction period on each trial. So we ran a new experiment to test this. And in this new experiment, we had two groups of participants. So the group whose data is all shown in blue are the group who had the exact same parameters as the initial study. So this means that they had a long induction period or induction window, which means that they spent longer in the scanner each day. The second group had shorter induction windows, which means that they spent less time in the scanner each day. As a result of this training, we found that both groups had a reduction in depressive symptoms, even up to 1 month later. Furthermore, their brain activity became more like that of healthy participants. So in this particular case, we're measuring functional connectivity between two parts of the brain. And this is more negative in healthy than in depressed people. So we were training them to make this more negative. And you can see that it did start to look more negative with training. Importantly, a relationship was found between the changes in depressive scores and changes in brain activity. So basically, the more the brain activity became like that of healthy people, the more depressive scores were reduced. And this was significant for the experiment with the same parameters as the initial experiment. So we replicated the initial results. And it's not significant for the experiment or the group with shorter induction windows, but it looks like it's in the right direction. And at the moment, we don't have enough participants. So I'm positive that in the future, or I'm optimistic that in the future, this might start to become more of a positive correlation as well. And if we do find that, that means that we would have found that we can reduce the amount of time that participants spend in the scanner each day and still effectively change their brain activity to reduce the depressive symptoms, which we're already seeing here. In the future, we have various other parameters we want to test to see if we can make this paradigm easier for people and therefore more feasible for use as actual clinical treatment. If you ask me about them, I can tell you. And of course, at the moment with the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, this is quite important stuff, I think. The amount of people who are having depressive symptoms is increasing. And why wouldn't it? I mean, people are losing jobs, they're stuck at home, they're getting sick. Some even have to suffer with the deaths of families and friends. It's quite likely that it will continue on this pattern so that people continue to have increases in depressive symptoms. And I really hope that this treatment can help these people. And especially because, unlike medication, this particular treatment so far has shown no negative side effects. I guess that's all I really want to say, so please feel free to ask questions.